Good morning and welcome to Intuit Developers Weekly Hangout. I'm here with Jeff Domaraki from, I guess you're from all sorts of stuff, the CEO of Dev Network, right?
Yep.
We're going to be talking about the upcoming Developer Week Hackathon that Intuit Developer will be sponsoring. But there's a lot of Dev Network events going on all the time, but let's get into the hackathon. Do you have any, sort of big excitements coming up for next week?
Yes, so the Developer Week Hackathon is going to be February 13th and 14th in downtown San Francisco. And this will be our 4th year hosting it. It's gotten bigger every year. It's one of the largest hackathons in San Francisco, and we're pretty open about what people build. So, we've got some companies like Intuit, having challenges and prizes for building on their API. We've got about 20 other prizes that hackers can come in, build whatever they want on the technologies, win the prizes. For the next week, it's just going to be kind of a growing storm, since Developer Week's not just a hackathon. It's a whole series of events going on from February 13th through the 17th and 18th. But we've changed some things this year with the hackathon.
Mm-hmm.
And we're kind of excited about seeing even more people in San Francisco and worldwide building cool things.
Cool. What were some of the things you changed?
So last year we had about 600-700 people on site. As you like a traditional hackathon where everyone's in one big building. There's a main stage where you give kickoff talks, main stage where you do the final judging at the end. We did our judging science fair style, so we had 120 tables. Judges walked around every single table, and so that's a fairly standard large hackathon format. This year, we've had so many people get interested in participating in our hackathon, but they can't be in San Francisco, that we actually have the option of either being in San Francisco and working from our headquarters or working remotely from wherever. And that's why if you go to developerweek.com, you go to Hackathon, you can register with a virtual pass, and you could still win a lot of the prizes. Basically that, I'd say about 30% of our attendees are participating virtually. So that's new for this year. And then the other thing I think we're doing new for this year is we're also allowing some hackathon teams to keep building on their projects through the entire conference. So the hackathon is Saturday, Sunday, and then the conference is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And there's a lot more going on during the conference, but if some of the hackathon teams want to win some other prizes, they can just kind of continue working through the entire week if they're able to take off that much work.
Gotcha. That's pretty interesting. What kind of are sponsors opening up prizes that are sort of long term for developers, or?
So right now, I'd say about half of our sponsors have submitted what their challenges are. If you go to, so we've built our own software for being able to manage large scale hackathons. It's at accelerate.im. And if you go to the challenges, then you'll see what everyone's listed so far. Intuit's got their challenge listed and lists their prize. I don't know if no one's listed making it available on the conference yet. I feel like maybe some sponsors don't know that that's a thing. Again, this being the first year, it's kind of a educational experience for the attendees and for the sponsors. But you can see that if you click on virtual hack, if you go to accelerate.im, if you go to challenges, you go to virtual hackathon, you'll see that 3 of our sponsors, including Intuit, have made their prizes available for developers who are based anywhere around the world. So that's something new for this year.
Cool. And then what, the virtual component, how is that going to be judged the same way?
So, we honestly don't know whether we're going to have 700 people in San Francisco working. We don't know whether we're going to have 500 people around the world or 5,000 around the world doing building new applications. So we've partnered with codeanywhere.com. They're sort of an online coding platform. You can code in the browser. And anyone working virtually needs to create a Code Anywhere account so we can kind of make sure that they're literally building an app from scratch,
Right.
and then submit their project through a different form. And then the Code Anywhere team, along with our team, is kind of screening projects down to the top 50 virtual projects. And, like looking at, does it work? Will it load? Does it like solve an actual problem? And then we'll have the same judging team that judges all of the hackathon teams on site. We'll have them judge the virtual teams. And then the sponsors are responsible for choosing their own prizes. Right. So, the hackathon's got a few tiers of judging. It gets a little complicated because we have to basically reduce maybe 120 to 200 like on-site in San Francisco hackathon teams down to the top 5 or 10, depending on time. And we do that by like science fair style. We literally like get about 30 to 40 round one judges, teach them how to judge all these hackathon teams, science fair style, table to table. That goes on Sunday, February. And so the judges, that's round one. Every team gets judged at the venue, and even online, like virtually. Then round two judging is, if you go to developerweek.com, you go to Hackathon, you can see the schedule there. Round two judging is when every hackathon team that builds on a sponsor's technology goes and pitches the sponsor. If you're a virtual team, you have to be in the top 50 in order to be considered for a sponsor prize, because it's literally impossible for every virtual hackathon team to talk to every sponsor within a 1 hour window. Like it's impossible. So only the top 50 can do that. But if you're an on-site San Francisco developer, then you go round two, you go to the sponsor table, pitch the sponsor on your app. They choose who wins their prize. Round three, everyone comes to the main stage for the end of the hackathon. And we live stream this all. So if you're remote, you can still watch all this. And then the top 5 to 10 teams go up, pitch their apps. These are the top apps out of everyone in the venue. We kind of choose who's like number one, number two, number three, and then we announce all the sponsors' prizes. And even I think we have like half of the sponsors actually submitted their prizes yet. They just do it online. Intuit has. But we'll probably have $50 to $1,000 worth of cash and products and prizes, and they get pretty cool in terms of like devices and hardware and everything. So that's kind of how our judging works.
Gotcha. And then what can you win if you're not going for a sponsor prize?
Well, we actually try to get everyone to do the sponsor prizes. So we're a little unlike TechCrunch Disrupt Hackathon or the launch hackathon, in that those hackathons, everyone comes and tries to basically compete to build the best overall startup and launch it and get it funding, which is cool. And a lot of those teams come in with fully flushed out startup concepts, and they're gonna win. They're gonna be the next big startup. A lot of people come to Developer Week's hackathon to learn and get more development experience. So it's almost entirely developers. Fewer startups and entrepreneurs, mostly designers and developers. And most of the education comes from interacting with each other and with our sponsors, who are kind of also mentors and coaches. So, most of the prizes are all delivered by the sponsors for the top teams using their technology. And then people still like to win the overall prize, and we'll like announce it. But all the coolest prizes are the sponsors' prizes.
Cool. Yeah, it sounds like if you're a virtual participant, you need to have a really solid demo.
Yep.
That might be something to keep in mind in the future.
Yeah, we'll have more kind of FAQs on the remote side in the next week. We're the on-site side, we've got that part down. We've been doing that for like 4 years. Like hosting a large virtual hackathon, I feel like the world's still kind of inventing how that's supposed to work, because you got to reduce possibly hundreds of teams down to like, a finite number without meeting them in like. So yeah, it'll be interesting. But it's since we're kind of putting it as a layer above Developer Week, a lot of the processes, people, sponsors, judges are already in place.
Gotcha. That's great. And
yeah.
hopefully every sponsor has a lot of good teams competing for their prizes.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're at about 1,700 registrations across on-site and virtual. So that's pretty good.
And where is it going to be located on site?
So we actually have 2 San Francisco venues. One is Galvanize, where that'll be kind of our headquarters with our main stage, which we're live streaming. And you can still go to our site and register for a headquarter pass. I actually listed a partner venue if Galvanize runs out, which is Dev Bootcamp, and it's another 200 people. For some reason, people keep registering for that venue. I'm like, a main stage or sponsors there. You guys can register if you want. I mean, I was just using it as overflow, and just like it's within walking distance of Galvanize, so not a big deal. And then the main conference and expo for Developer Week is Pier 27, which is it is northeast corner. It's one of the piers. Very much larger venue. Next year, I kind of wanted to do the hackathon and the conference at the same time because then you get to like put everyone in one big venue. But this time we have got multiple venues.
Cool. Are there anything else you're looking forward in the future? Hackathons of next year and Developer Weeks of the future.
Yeah. So I mean, we're experimenting with the idea of putting the conference expo and the hackathon at the same time, since hackathons have high energy. Everyone's like coding, trying to learn, going to workshops to learn the technologies. Conferences and expos tend to be like, you walk into a room, you sit, you listen, you walk out, you get coffee, you walk into a room, you sit, you listen, you walk around the expo, have a coffee. It's awesome for education. We have a lot of parties and meetups and drink ups and mixers all over the city during the week. But in terms of I actually thought putting the conference and the expo and the hackathon all in one big venue for 3 days would be cool to just fill the venue. A lot of the workshops overlap, right? So like if you're going to a Intuit workshop in the hackathon, that has value to people who aren't just in a hackathon. They might just be attendees of our conference. Also, you have to kind of ask yourself, like, if your goal for going to a hackathon is to learn, then maybe there's 3 days, like a learning day and like the hacking days. So next year we might put the hackathon and the conference in like the same 3-day period at one giant venue. But besides that, the other thing we have coming up for our company is we're one of the largest API conferences. So like basically designing or monetizing APIs as well as discovering what APIs exist, which is API World, which is in September. And that's in San Jose. And that's kind of our other big conference of the year. It also has a hackathon. We had about 400 or 500 people come out to that last time. So it's one of the largest kind of API-centric hackathons. And then that hackathon's all about building kind of API mashups. So it's kind of cool when you can see teams integrate like 5 different APIs into like a new product. It's very meta, I guess. Yeah, we'll just start with that.
Well, cool.
Yep.
I mean, it sounds like there's a ton going on for Developer Week as a whole. Do you want to talk a little more about what kind of events you have planned for that? And I'd love to hear also, how did you get this started? Why does Developer Week exist?
Yeah, so during Developer Week on Tuesday, we've got a pretty large hiring mixer. We usually get between 500 and 800 people coming out for that. The conference and the expo has some new tracks. We're doing what we call a CTO World Congress. It's about 100, 200 CTOs and senior tech executives on a kind of high level executive track of Developer Week. That's new for this year. We have we have CTOs from I don't know, LinkedIn, Splunk, New Relic, Red Hat, VMware coming in and speaking there. And then we've got a 3-day JavaScript conference. So if you're interested in learning full stack JavaScript, you can go and kind of get the full landscape view on that over 3 days. Other new things we got like data and machine learning track. We've got like a mobile dev track. There's a few summits and tracks going on in the conference, but we also empower a lot of our community organizers and partners and sponsors to host partner events throughout the week. I don't think we've really gone live with the full week yet because most people submit them last minute, but we'll probably have 20, 25 partner events throughout the city. So if you just go to developerweek.com, you click on events, you can see all the partner events. And every day that goes by, there'll be more of them up there. And in terms of getting this company started, so I was the founder of Tech Week in Chicago. So apparently doing week format things is a thing. Now they do Tech Weeks everywhere. And started this company in San Francisco, originally doing data conferences. I just kind of realized that our most popular content and all of our attendees wanted to come and hear about developer, and most of our attendees were developers.
Right.
Wanting to hear about developer topics. So I'm like, well, let's just embrace this. Like the community wants, this was 4 years ago, more like content, thought leadership, and community organizing around like not just developer tech, but around like the newest, coolest topics and tools for developers. So a cool thing about being kind of like technology neutral is that we can pick and choose topics that are brand new each year. So there's just a ton of full stack JavaScript frameworks and libraries and technologies that just came out in the past year. So I'm like, man, we should really do some content around this. And then, the other big thing that's changing is I think that like, I didn't even know what a CIO was a few years ago, but apparently like CTO is the new CIO. So, the guy who's like making decisions about the technology going into your product is like the new guy who's making decisions about the technology used by like for your, your infrastructure. So making product level technology decisions is like a huge thing. So that's why a lot of CTO World Congress focuses on that. Why does this company exist? So we sort of rebranded to being Dev Network about 2 years ago because the developer conferences, like most of our attendees were developers. Most popular content was content for developers. I'm a developer, I'm a dabbler, like enough so where I can be like, oh, like Meteor or Angular, or like what's that do? So it's fun to put that stuff together. And I think a lot of the world is looking in at like why are developers getting paid so much? Why does everyone want to hire them? Why is this the new like amazing career track? Like why are developers starting awesome companies? Like why are the best companies started by developers? Blah 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 blah. I mean, there's other like why are the best unicorn startups often started by developers? I'll be polite since my friends who are not developers start good companies too. That like these are questions like the world's like asking now. Like everyone watches the Social Network, the movie. They're like, oh, Mark Zuckerberg was a programmer and then he starts companies. Didn't know that was a thing. So being able to like put a spotlight on the fact that developers can like it's the new hot career, and B, they're the ones starting companies is something that's like kind of new in was not new in the past decade, but the world is now totally aware that this is a thing.
Right.
So, like that's something that we as Developer Week should kind of need to keep, Dev Network overall do through our brand to be like helping the world under like through conferences, through media, whatever, understand like what are the skills you need to be a developer and how can developers start companies.
course. Yeah, it sounds pretty exciting.
Yep.
Talk briefly about CTO World, but what are some of the other dev network events you have throughout the year? Because there's stuff going on all the time, right?
Yeah, there's two really big conferences, which are Developer Week and then API World. We also host Mobile Week in New York City. That's in April. And we've got a new, very content-centric conference called ProductCon. It's for product managers. Because I feel like a lot of people want to get into product management. A lot of people want to like kind of pivot their careers into or around product management. So understanding what that's all about is a big topic now. And we've got a few other things we're going to roll out in the next year that we'll announce. But those are kind of our key three conferences. I'm sorry, 4. Wow. I apparently planning for this conference has made me not count past 3.
Yeah, no, I'm sure you're super busy. Everything's coming up just here next week, so
yep,
pretty exciting.
Yep.
Well, that's pretty much the rundown that I wanted to hear. Is there anything else you want to talk about before we let you go?
No, I think that that's about it. No, one key thing that we haven't really been able to announce if you're in San Francisco, which we'll be announcing soon if you're on our email list. Basically register for any free pass for anything like our hackathon, and you'll join our email list. Is that that the being the largest developer event series during the entire week of Developer Week, we've got things going on for 100, 200 people, which are everyday Developer Week. Email goes out events. And it's pretty cool because I don't think in the country there's another week-long series of dev events like that. So yeah, I mean, even if you just want to subscribe to our email list and see what's going on, go to developerweek.com, go to the hackathon, register for some kind of pass, and then you'll get our emails for Developer Week. And I'll be at some of the events too. Hopefully, Tristan, you come out, and we'll see. Hopefully, we'll see you all there.
Cool. Well, it's great talking to you, Jeff.
Yeah.
Hope you have a good luck for the rest of the upcoming events.
Oh yeah. All right. Cool. Yeah. Thanks for inviting me to this, and I'll see you next weekend.